Ivanka.
The president called you a dog this morning. What's your reaction?
I think that it just shows you that if he would say that publicly, what else would he say about me privately? He has absolutely no respect for women, for African Americans, as evidenced by him instructing the chief of staff to lock me for 2 hours in the Situation Room to harass me, to threaten me and say that things could get very ugly for me and that there would be damage to my reputation. He is unfit to be in this office and to serve as the president of the United States.
Let's put up the tweet that he sent out. When you give a crazed, crying lowlife a break and give her a job at the White House, I guess it just didn't work out. Good work by General Kelly for quickly firing that dog. We've noted that he's used a derogatory language about women a number of times in the past, especially on Twitter. Dog, women and minorities. Dog, dumb, dumbest man on television. He said that the other day. Low IQ, blood coming out of her wherever. Neurotic, ingrates, Miss Piggy, son of a B word, fat, ugly slob. This is on Twitter and in interviews. When you were in the White House, did you see him treat women in a derogatory way?
You know, there were often, and I comment about this in Unhinged, about all of the different names that he had for everyone. He would talk about you, in fact, Katie. I was on the campaign while he harassed and talked about you and wanted to get you kicked out of things. He talked about all of the people around him. If you were in the room with him, you'd leave the room. For instance, he would call Betsy DeVos Ditzy DeVos. When General Kelly left the room, he had a nickname for him. Anybody that was in his world, because of his small ability to communicate, he would give them these derogatory nicknames, and it just wasn't appropriate.
Was it about women specifically or minorities specifically, or was it everybody?
Well,
did he treat women differently?
He does treat women differently, I think, as evidenced by the lack of female appointees in his administration, the lack of high-level senior advisors, women in his administration and throughout all of the different agencies. He treats them different because he believes that they're beneath him.
Can you detail any moment in the White House where he treated a woman in a different way, or did he harass women? Was there any inappropriate language used about women to their face? Did he comment on appearances or looks? Any moment that you can describe for us?
Well, one of the things that I talk about that just raised such great concern for me was his attacks on the widow of the soldier who died in Niger, as well as the Congresswoman Wilson, when he started to attack her, and then General Kelly got in on the act. They were tag teaming by attacking these African-American women who, in their right mind, would attack a woman who just lost her husband on the front line of serving for this country. That's exactly it. He is not in his right mind. He is mentally impaired and unfit to serve as president.
You write in the book, Trump has an affinity for pretty women. He'd rather have a pretty woman with no experience around than a qualified, less attractive woman. You're talking about Hope Hicks there.
Yes, I am talking about Hope Hicks. I find it very interesting. You know, people say interesting things about me, but Hope Hicks, who had a relationship with a married man, Corey Lewandowski, that's been well documented. Hope Hicks had continued to have relationships
with people. Both of them have denied that, we should point out.
Oh, okay. And then she had a relationship with Rob Porter, a man who is alleged to have been beaten both of his wives. And this is the person that he brought into the White House to be a communicator for him. And I just think that it's interesting that people haven't really examined the fact that he would rather have someone who has absolutely no political experience and has no knowledge of politics at all, because she's pretty. And I'm someone who served in 2 tours of duty. This is my second time in the White House, and he calls me a dog.